Welcome to Eudaimonia with Rhitu. Eudaimonia, a concept borrowed from Aristotle, is all about living a life of deep fulfillment and meaning, not just fleeting happiness. Here, I talk to experts and experts at life in heartfelt conversations designed to help us pause, choose intentionality over hustle, and discover joy, meaning, and depth in our everyday lives.
That you have to be happy, you have to be equipoise, and not be moved by all that's happening around you. Contentment, not happiness. I feel lucky that most of times when I've been lacking, when I've been in pain, when I've been at the edge of a precipice where I would have jumped, something amazing has happened without me calling for it. See, the world is an echo chamber, a goonj.
Today is my dad's birthday, the first birthday that he's not with us.
That don't cry. And then one day I'm looking at this hibiscus and it's red. I said, Papa sitting there. I said, "Cat." And I'm thinking about talking to myself. And I touched it. I'm seeing Papa. We have a heightened relationship. Papa and I now look at the other not as different, but as part of the same equation of humanity that connects us together.
So we thanks so much for making the time. Before we start, I always like to refresh people's memories about me, and
Kala Ghoda.
I hadn't heard of you before.
How lucky I am and how lucky you are.
I live under a rock. Usually, it protects me. But I read book reviews, and I happened to read your book review, and it made me want to buy the book immediately, which I did. And I started reading it on Kindle, and it made me cry pretty much as soon as I started reading it. And then Kalagora is something that really speaks to me. So just by serendipity, I saw that you're coming at Kalagora, and I was like, I cannot believe my luck. How is this happening? And I thought Suvir is not going to want to talk to me. But there I was sitting while you were talking, and you spoke about this boy who you gave your number to because he was struggling. I think you were talking about somebody in Kerala.
The mother took
Yeah,
me.
the mother came all the way to meet you, saying that
4.5 hours she took a train to come to Calicut.
yeah, because she thought you would be able to help him out, and you said you'd given your number to him. And I said, if that's the case, then maybe he will talk to me. And then you got off the podium, and I spoke to you, and you gave me your number. And here we are. So my first question to you is, this is my story. Do you believe in serendipity?
If you believe in Sri Lanka, you have to believe in it. It was used to be called Serendip, the name of Sri Lanka. It was found by chance. And while everything we say is meant to be, and I think life is many chances that we don't understand are going to happen, but happen by serendipity is very important. I believe in it, I live for it, and I just want to discover one thing every day that happens serendipitously but is meant to be. So it's part of my life. And going back to your story, the word you are using, मेरे को फिर से बोलिए, I read about it.
Eudaimonia.
So eudaimonia, you gave me the Aristotle meaning in even a printed form. Gita में 12वां अध्याय में, in the 12th chapter of the Gita, Arjun asks Krishna, Shri Krishna, आपके परम प्रिय भक्त कौन है? Who's your favorite disciple? And after I think the third or the fourth shloka says, Santushtah yena kenachit, aniketah sthir bhakti man me priyo na raha. That you have to be happy, you have to be equipoise, and not be moved by all that's happening around you. Contentment, not happiness. And that, I think, is the joy of life.
Yeah.
Because when you get too swayed in your joys and too broken by what's challenging you, that's when all these other things eat us up. And then yesterday I was somewhere and I keep telling, I was talking to Swami Mukundananda, who's written the Gita for business and everyday living. And we were going to do a podcast, but the podcast, my new series will start in May. And Mukundananji and I had made a date for now. And it wasn't. So I said, so if Swamiji has time, I'd like to talk to him. He spoke for over almost an hour and a half. And Swamiji se maine pucha, Swamiji, what is, Krishna, so Arjun said, what is your favorite bhakt? He said the same thing. That, because my mother always said, if you welcome joy with such big, wide open arms, you have to welcome pain with just as big arms.
Right.
So they're part of the same coin.
Right.
And so people would tell me, Suvir, you're pant-faced. I said, I'm like my mother. I'm the Gita ka sar.
Mm.
I'm not swayed by a Michelin star.
Yeah.
I'm not broken by near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Because neither one I know is permanent or in my hand.
Yeah.
What's not in my control, what's not deserved by me, and what has to be endured to get somewhere else, I have to take both equally.
Yeah.
So you are doing a very good service to all of us by having these conversations. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You've already alluded to a bunch of threads that I wanted to go to. But there were so many parts of your book which I was screenshotting as I was going along. And one part which really spoke to me is the part that you're talking about when you're in Delhi. And I forget the school, but you're talking about these rich, privileged kids
Boarding school, Vasant Vihar.
who are walking around with fancy geometry boxes, and they almost wear that as part of their pride. And that's when we are kids, but even when we are adults, I think we're looking for those fancy geometry boxes to fill us up. And you have consistently in the book said that those were hollow. When you're wearing your Versace and Gucci suits and hobnobbing with Hollywood celebrities, you're constantly talking about how that was hollow and you were looking for some more meaning. Even with the kids, you're saying they had that, but I had something else. And I look at the world around us, and everybody is on that path for the Versace and Gucci and the hobnobbing. You've done that, you've left that, and you've come for something which is more grounding. Why don't you talk about that a little bit so people can leave this wild goose chase?
So I've come with no jewels. This is me, sadharan me. But I can't say sadharan because this is beautifully cut fabric and handmade. Look at the custom shoes by Jitendra Sandhu. They're a fraction of what a Prada would cost, but they're Indian, made by an Indian designer, manufactured in India, and saving and serving and building our local economy. So I take more pride in these than any Pradas in my closet. They've
Right.
not come out since I've come to India.
Right.
Indian made, woven and stitched. What better joy to have in life? So for me, at least I'm helping somebody somewhere live their local life around me.
Right.
Charity begins at home. So while all of that, I can't lie. When I see Gucci, Prada, Chanel, there's a reason they are who they are. The quality is impeccable. But perhaps in New York, where the gurbat isn't so stark, I can wear a Prada, Gucci and feel fine. But in India, when I walk, I see a homeless person, I see a destitute, I see a person who even, if there is a God, God is forgotten. I have to be responsible for them. I have to be a Rakshas if I ignore their reality and walk in my Prada as nothing has happened. So I save a little, share a little more, and live a little better.
Yeah.
So I think we have to be very mindful of our circumstances and all. जब मैं अमेरिका जाता हूँ मैं खा लूँगा प्राडा लेके चला जाऊँगा वहाँ पे कम गिल्ट होगा यहाँ पे to wear that if I'm able to help one of those lives that is also human be a little better in their world,
Yeah.
I should do that, and I should ignore wearing a Gucci and a Prada handbag, shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm okay wearing Indian fabrics because it looks good, it feels good here, and it's doing some good.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you wear humility so lightly? Because again, I have from my corporate past, and I don't want to bash up corporate folks, but I mean, those are the people I most hang out with because of my life circumstances. And humility does not come easy. I mean, designations, what they've achieved, how many times they've jet setted to Europe, those are the things that sort of define them. Whereas you've, like you said, the Michelin star is something that you've already achieved. Yet, I could get your phone number, and I told you I didn't even know who you were.
You know, I don't think I'm doing anything special. Humility is a word that we give too much credence to, and it's like a Michelin star when it shouldn't be. Humility makes you human.
Right.
When you don't have it, you're not human. So I think lack of it makes you a Rakshas, and having it makes you normal. So we all should have it. And I don't do anything I don't expect another to do. So when I mentor a lot of young minds, and I tell them, if you want somebody to give you love, who have you given love to today?
Right.
You want people to look at you, who have you looked at with a smile?
Yeah.
If you want people to do something for you, what did you do for others today?
Yeah.
And that do is not about expense. But I'm not rich. I said, excuse me, you are able-bodied, you have a mind, you have imagination, you have time.
Yeah.
What have you done?
Yeah.
Huh? I said, there's a woman walking with 3 bags and 2 children pulling at her. You could have gone and said, ma'am, may I help you?
Yeah.
Walk you to your home.
Yeah.
Then you were eating a sandwich with somebody there who was hungry. You could have given them half. And there's so many things you can do without it costing you.
Yeah.
Did you do any of it? No. Then why do you expect the world to do something for you? So I live by the golden rule, do unto others as you want done to you.
Yeah.
And if you do that, I feel lucky that most of times when I've been lacking, when I've been in pain, when I've been at the edge of a precipice where I would have jumped, something amazing has happened without me calling for it.
Yeah.
And those are the things that I think the world is an echo chamber. Rashmi Uday Singh, who was a food critic of Times of India, once wrote to me and I said, you're so incredible, Rashmi. She said, I'm not. You are very good. I said, Rashmi, come on. She said, the world is an echo chamber, a goonj.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm no more humble or no, humility is not who I am. I'm just me, and I'm lucky that I have good people around. It's Rashmi.
That's so nice to hear. Again, you've achieved so much, but in your book you also talk about the precipice that you have sort of come to so many times, whether it's your health issues, whether it is massive failure, talking about American Masala, for example, putting your heart and soul in it and then it crushing you. You've gone through all of that and you still write so vehemently about hope. I think that's another thing that we need to learn, right? Because sometimes when you're stuck in a situation, I'm surrounded by people who are stuck in difficult situations, and it's very, including me. Why am I talking about others? There are times when it becomes so difficult to think about anything positive. What gives you the strength to reach those highs and then crash and then come back again?
So American Masala had forgotten that I had this crash. It was a restaurant that was named after my company. And the investors in it were Stephen Max and his father. Mr. Max Sr. was the chairman and managing director of Morgan Stanley at America's highest at the stock market. And they invested $1 million in a fast food concept created by Suvir Saran that would have replaced McDonald's. And we opened it. And the next day the markets crashed. So a building that had 6,800 people had only 150 employees left. And they had put in their million. I didn't have to put anything. They were totally behind me. But the next 7 months, the economy took 4 or 5 years to come back. The building only had 200, then 150, then 100 employees. What would have given us 3,000 people eating all day was giving us 20 people. I had $250,000 in my savings. I had employees who had left good jobs and come to me. I told them all, I have $250,000, will take me 4 to 5 months of your payroll. Find something else. And I depleted all my savings. And I went with a smile that nothing we did, it was something that nobody could have foreseen.
Right.
The Maxes never chased after me for the $1 million. I didn't mope and cry about my $250,000. And I'm no poorer or richer for it. In fact, I'm richer. That I can tell people I gave their salaries, I kept them employed till they found new jobs. And the day we didn't have the money, they had jobs and I had loss but gain. And we moved on. So I think losses and all, it's again, good or bad, we give those emotions to these words. And if we just look at them in that way that Aristotle and you talk about, even after reading that word, I think I'm a good wordsmith. I couldn't say it correctly. Equipoise, dukkha sukha kshami, that is how you have to be. That in good and bad times you have to be sane. When you don't let yourself go in an emotional roller coaster ride, life is easier. Because your brain and your childhood will take you through so many roller coaster rides in your adulthood. Don't add to them. Because your childhood, from when you were born to the day you can think and stand for yourself, society and the world and all kinds of riches and lack of it give you so much turmoil in your brain. Don't add to it as an adult to keep feeding that darkness. There's dark in all of us. कल स्वामी जी ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात बोली जो मेरे घर पे 3 अभी बच्चे रह रहे हैं जिनको मैं बार बार बोलता हूँ कि आप लोग अपने दिमाग को क्यों अपने ऊपर कंट्रोल लेने दे रहे हो. You're in your head, I tell them, and they don't understand. And yesterday in that conversation with Swami Ji, all Miss Swami Ji said is that your dimag has to be made your slave. You are the master, the dimag is the slave. And I said, he said the same thing to you. He said, the dimag will take over and become a monster that beats you down every day. And we have to be that slave driver that keeps the dimag in its place and takes your ideas, your vision, your hunger to be happy and comfortable. Let that be the driving engine.
So this therav that you're talking about, not letting your emotions rule you, whether it is the high or the low, I think I'm intuiting it comes from deep spirituality. And I remember when I met you at Kala Ghora, you were also speaking of an incident when, I don't know, somebody from the church came to pick you for a drive, and he called you. He said this is the first time. Heathen. Then you spoke to him for a few
4
hours.
hours of a drive.
Yeah. So what is it that you were talking to him? Where is this deep spirituality coming from? What is it that's grounding you?
You know, before I opened my restaurant, Devi, that became the first Indian restaurant and first non-Asian, non-European, non-Northern European restaurant in North America to get a Michelin star. I had signed up at Columbia University to do a PhD in a comparative study of Middle Eastern language and politics and religion. So I'm a very political animal. I'm deeply religious. But if you have a Pandit or a Hindu of modern India tell you, "Aap Hindu hai?" I'm like, "Nahi, main Nastik hu." I don't see eye to eye with Hindus of India today. I am certainly not Christian by any stretch of the imagination. I'm perhaps more Islamic Muslim than I am Christian. And am I Jewish in any sense? In many ways, but I'm not a Zionist who's bombing Palestine. So, you know, there's so many things I'm not as a religious person, no matter what religious cloak I wear. So I tell people I'm a Gnostic, but I'm not Gnostic. I'm a staunch believer of a power that gives us all the answers when science fails us. But I'm also a believer in the supremacy of science, because every time religion fails us, science is that wonder, ooh, there's the answer. So I think we need both. You walk with both of them, a bag of science, a bag of religion in your arms, but never allow dogma, ritual, and pedantic understanding of them to divide us, break us, and create hurdles in living a normal life. Religions are the creation of humans. Spirituality and belief is the common journey that we are taking with different paths. A Muslim is going to the highway this way, a Christian that way, Hindu that, but we are all leading to one point. Gandhi ji ne hum logo ko unka gana favorite tha, which I used to sing at Birla House for his death and birth anniversary with 10 other students, and it said, "Tum Ram kaho ve Rahim kahe, dono ki garaz Allah se hai. तुम दीन कहो वे धर्म कहें, मंशा तो उसी की राह से है. तुम इश्क कहो वे प्रेम कहें, मतलब तो उसी की चाह से है. तुम सालिग हो वह लूला है, मकसूद दिले आगाह से. क्यों लड़ता है मुँह रख बंदे, ये तेरी खाम ख्याली है पेड़ की जड़ तो एक वही, हर मजहब एक एक डाली है." How beautifully that song explains, है पेड़ की जड़ तो एक वही, हर मजहब एक एक डाली है. And so I started singing this when I was in 4th grade, so 10 साल का था. तो मेरे लिए religion बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है, but it's not a dividing factor. For me, I see religion as this opportunity to connect, to be together. But we've made it into this dangerous thing that says, I'm the majority of this country and I'm better than you. That's not religion. That's dirt. So मेरे लिए religion तो मैं बोलता मैं हुई नहीं जी हिंदू, रहने दीजिए. But I am. And has it stood by me? You know, I started reading the Gita around the same time, 9 years of age, 8, 9 years of age. And even before I could read it, my dadi would be singing it with a mandali of women in South Ex, which is in South Delhi. So people say, "Oh, you're rich." If you have a home doesn't mean you're rich, but whatever it means, we were there. And these women of all ages, of all types, of all riches or non-riches, would sing the Gita in 4.5 hours. So I could sing it, mimic it, but I was parroting it. And I think at 9 or 10, I started understanding it. And what it taught me were many profound things, that you didn't get excited in happy times, you didn't get broken in bad times. That life was a journey of vicissitudes and discoveries of happy moments and challenging moments, and each were moments that would pass by.
Yeah.
And my mother was the living, graceful epitome of the Gita's journey. That when we clung her and pushed her and pulled her, she still got to that point with three of us dragging her, but she using more force to get her to that place she needed to be. And when we jumped and joyed and we were happy in following her, she got there faster. But mom never left the path. And that was my spiritual and my religious head was my mother, to see her never lose focus of where she had to go. So I realized that is what religion is. It's taking you from point A to point B. You can choose to meander and dress up and do dhong and do ritual,
Yeah.
or you can just go from point A to point B. It's up to you.
Yeah.
But that is a journey we all have to be on.
Yeah.
And so it's helped me a lot, I think. But I don't go to a temple. I've never gone to any place of religion to observe. If they're beautiful old temples, mosques, churches, synagogues, gurdwaras, I'll go to see them for the architecture,
Right.
not for the puja.
Right.
Puja is there. देखो घाट ही में हरि का निवास है रे, तूने बाहर तलाश अनेकों किए, लेकिन खुद ही में प्यारे को भूल गए, वो तो करता पुकार हर सांस है रे. So every breath is a partnership with the divine.
Yeah.
You don't have to go looking for it.
You've already alluded to it in what you were saying, but even in your description of your book, it's very clear that there's no dogma at your place. Describe your childhood prayer room, because you were saying there are multiple idols, as it were.
The prayer room was perhaps even darker than this studio, with just very pointed lighting that both of us shine. And it remained pretty much dark all day long. It was like a kotri. And my dadi had, by the time I knew this was a prayer room, dadi had abandoned it. So my grandfather died and she got off puja. I said, Dadi, what changed? She said, Baba, वो ढोंग है. I said, ढोंग क्या होता है दादी? जरूरत नहीं है इसकी. I said, क्या है? ये मेरी अम्मी करती थी, उनकी माँ करती थी, लोग करते हैं, पर इससे भगवान नहीं मिलता. ऐसे तो ये क्या है? ये ट्रेडिशन है. ऐसे करने की जरूरत नहीं होती. मैंने किया पर कुछ सीखा नहीं इससे. सीख मुझे अपने आप अंदर जाके मिली. And those words of Dadi's in English and Awadhi were so beautiful, that this woman who used to do it, when I couldn't speak to her, I would just sit next to her and watch her do. वो चंदन घिसती थी, कपड़े पहनाती थी. By the time I could ask her what she was doing, she said, "Galat hai." So the majority of my journey with Dadi, I was a walking stick, and she would teach me. I thought I would, I'm being a walking stick. Everybody called me Kamla Bobo's Chari. And she was guiding me in life. She taught me how this is dong, this is ritual. But asli Bhagwan ki journey jo hai, andar shuru hoti hai. And so she freed me of it. That room had Swami Vivekananda ki photograph, Paramhans ki photograph, Guru Nanak ki, Jesus ki. I think एक वो जो ताबीज़ पहनते हैं मुस्लिम लोग पड़ी हुई थी वहाँ पे, rosary beads. जिसने travel में को जाके उनको ला ली, she put it there. But it didn't mean anything to her. These were things people gave her that had religious connotation. It didn't mean anything to her. They were there because this is the room of noise. In my interpretation, puja rooms are museums of noise. यहाँ पे शोर ढोंग सब मचा लो. But Dadi was on a spiritual journey at that point to reach point B in her own way, which was without dogma, without anybody's hands and crutches and wheelchairs and stretchers that religion becomes. She could do it on her own. She didn't need your help. So I said, क्या होता है दादी, क्यों मंदिर आप? मेरी बुआ was very observant, मेरी बहन very observant. She said, बाबा इनको छड़ी चाहिए चलने के लिए वहाँ तक. वो बहुत मुश्किल है कि हम आज़ाद होकर चल पाए. उसमें आप अकेले हो. आपकी सोच, आपकी patience, आपकी intelligence, आपकी ability to stand strong when everybody tells you तुम गलत हो, is all questioned. It's so easy to be dumb and be in ritual. तो आप कुछ भी हो यहाँ पे पहुँचा, लोग आपको घसीट के ले जाएंगे. पर इंडिपेंडेंट होना मुश्किल है, दुनिया आपको तोड़ती है. पर जिस दिन हो जाते हो, उसका जॉय अलग है बाबा. So she said, Bhuwa is not wrong. She's getting there. मैं अपनी आप जाना चाहती हूँ, क्योंकि मेरे को खुद अकेले में वो रास लेना. So she taught me at age 8 and 9 and 10 that this is a journey she's decided to take alone. And my mom was doing it, my nana was doing it. So I understood, oh, there's not one, there are three elders who are not into ritual.
Right.
And my father, not into rituals. Papa questioned the others, but he would tell us, I'm their age, I can teach them about it, you can't. And he said, they're okay. He said, we have to have plurality.
Yeah.
They were telling me the piousness and beauty of their individual journeys. My father would say, Bhua is okay, Seema is okay. They're doing the dhong, let them. तुम भी कुछ मिसचिफ करते हो, गाना ज्यादा गाते हो, क्लिप पॉटरी करते रहते हो, उनका ये है पास टाइम, करने दो. And Kabir was my other teacher. Kabir, Dadi used to sing a lot of Kabir, and Panditji, our Brahmin cook at the house, वो भी कबीर दास बहुत पढ़ते थे. तो Kabir, the teacher between the Gita and the Kabir and Rahim, oof, magic.
So you've actually cued my next question. Your book is so full of lovely people who I think have grounded you in a lot of ways. And I'm going to say a bunch of names. Why don't you tell me one or two things that each of these people have taught you? First, your papa.
Papa taught me that a lion or a tiger can roar and be big, but fall down. They're the gentlest souls. And that you can tame a lion, you can trust a lion, and you can learn from a lion. And when he passed away at a very young age, at 65, my mother reminded us there was a patient in the hospital who was barely a teenager who had also died the same day. She said, think of that. You all are crying? What is that family going through? So it's all perspective. We thought he died in a young age. Yeah. But Papa was a man who went for office immediately after we left for school. And he came back home by 5 every evening. When his bosses, he was a part of the Indian Revenue Service, when anybody invited him to dinner for a work day, he said, we'll be a group of 5. 5? My wife, my 3 kids. Oh, Saran, don't come, stay here. He didn't. He realized when work finished, it's finished. And he performed at the greatest levels of Indian history in revenue. In Bombay, he was the, I think, what was he, the Director General of Enforcement or DG Investigation. Mm-hmm. So everyone, Amitabh Bachchan came 2 years on Diwali Day to give mithai to my parents at the home they had at Baker Tower in Cuff Parade, because they had seized it from somebody who hadn't been paying money. So the Director General Investigation got his residence in Baker Tower. Why would Government of India own a place there? He went after people that nobody had dared to, including Dawood Ibrahim. And Papa was there 3 years. Politicians in Bombay and Delhi were wanting him out because he was creating revenue for the Government of India. And this is the most powerful seat to create revenue, but also the most powerful seat to extract money and keep it in your pockets. Yeah. And people were shocked how much revenue Papa made. And my mom often thinks that those 3 years were very bad for his health because he was fighting the whole system and he was doing it every day. So that was the man he was at work. But when he came home at 5 in the evening, Deepak, he became Deepak from Guru Saran. His office name was Guru Saran, Deepak at home. Deepak, our Papa, became us. He was a father to all our friends, my brother, my sister, and mine. And their parents were busy drinking, getting whatever they were doing. They wouldn't come home till 10:30 at night. Our father was the father of the community. And when he died, almost 1,000 plus people came. And they were all mourning a loss of a friend, a father, and a community man. And that was what Papa did. They don't let your job become you. Papa always said, Baba, ये गद्दी है. जब ये जाएगी, ये लोग सारे लोग चले जाएंगे. मैं हूँ, वो हूँ, जो आप लोग मुझे देखते हो. अगर मैंने कुछ अच्छा किया, आप मुझे याद रखोगे. And Kabir says, जब इस जग में पग धरो, सब हंसे तुम रोए. ऐसी करनी कर चलो, तुम हंसो सब रोए. That you go leaving such an impact that you go proud and people cry that a good person has been lost.
Wow, I don't know what to say. I have tears in my eyes. Ma
tujhe salam. So, she is embarrassed when I talk about it. I say, Mom, I'm talking about you, you're not. She said, Baba, I've not done anything extraordinary. I've just been a mother. And I think that's what mothers are. Mm-hmm. This one is very special because all mothers to all of us kids are very special. Yeah. She gave up. She's one of the most brilliant minds in this planet. If she had been given tools to be a NASA scientist, she could have been that. Mm-hmm. She fell in love with this man, my father, when they were teenagers. He had my Masi tie Rakhi to him to get access to my mother's home. What a chalu chand man he was. So yeah, she made my Masi into Raki's sister so he could be closer to my mother. And they had a love marriage in the 1960s.
Wow.
There's a photograph where they're sitting in some garden and he's putting flowers in her hair. What Indian man had the guts to do it now rather than, and he was doing it in 1960. So this is a daring man and she was a daring woman. Rohit Bal Gudda used to say she looked like a Chanel, like a drug cartel girl. She was all buffo and dark glasses and beautiful skin. He said she looks like a Chanel cartel girl. That she could be part of the drug mafia looking chic. She was very beautiful, very chic, very brilliant. When Papa died, somebody saw Mom doing everything. She pays her own taxes. She goes pays the property tax on her own, not an assistant on her own. She's 81. She said, Baba, all these people who thought Deepak would be happy with a beautiful, mute woman, tell them to think again. And she said, in every relationship, one person can be the voice, and that's enough. If you're two competing, it's not a happy relationship. She said, Papa wouldn't have taken just a mute, pretty one. So she said, what is the surprise? My Deepak wanted somebody with fire and spark. I knew he's the performer, and I'll enjoy my life. And so she's equally Papa in the lioness tigress part, but she doesn't take center stage. She's the supporting role that makes all of us into stars. And I said, din ki roshni, subhi raat ki, the roshni of the day she doesn't take, but at night when everything is dark, she becomes the light putting us forward. So she's the one because of whom all of us smile, not just children, the family, the friend circle. As an 81-year-old, when I get out of a cab and she's around me or the car, she'll come open my door because she's still worried I may have a fall that can take me back to the 2016-17 when she was a 75-year-old carrying a 45-year-old boy as an infant. So she said, I gave you birth twice. I can't give you a third chance. So she's still protecting me, becoming my walking stick at 81. Her motherly instincts are that strong and she does it for everybody. She has a friend her age who has Alzheimer's and almost not invalid. She goes to visit and sit with her every week. Because her responsibilities are never she can shirk away from. So she's a mother, a friend, and a caregiver to people older than her and younger than her. And she's able to do it all because I think in her mind she's not old. So I'm hoping she continues like that because she's a very brave woman and she doesn't see it.
What generosity of spirit.
It is my people I've met in India who've met her recently. They look at her and the Maharaja Karoli, Vivaswat Pal Karoli. It's the oldest Rajwara of Rajasthan. Came over to stay in our home a few weeks ago. He looks at my mother and he says, Auntie, how old is Suvir? Auntie, how old must you be? She said, how old do you think I am? He said, 60, 65, 81. He said, how old do you think Suvir is? 36. She said, so he really thought my mother was younger than his father by 15 years, and I was his age. We were in shock. Mama said, Baba, what are you saying? The auntie, you don't look 81. She doesn't look it because she doesn't behave it, she doesn't think it, and she certainly doesn't act it. She's not a flamboyant woman. But when you sit with her at the table or you see her walking, she's a woman on a mission. She's not old. She's old in age, but she's young at mind, young at spirit, and young as a person.
What an inspiration. Panditji.
Panditji was Brahmin, Hindu, cook, custodian of culture, family man. When he retired at 60, Panditji came to the family as an 8 or 9-year-old boy. He'd already given the family 50 plus years. So Papa said, Devi Prasad, double salary, ab retire ho jao. He gave him more money to retire. He went to the village and he came back and he said, hum nahi wahan reh sakte. Which is where Dadi came from. So Papa said, kya hua? He said, we don't have that relationship, the family, you are my family. I'll visit them. So my mother said, but Devi Prasad, you can't be working here. Deepak, Papa 60, Bhaiya 60, aap 60 ko retire. So Papa said, 6-7 साल बड़े थे. So he said, अच्छा, तो क्या करेंगे? Papa said, you'll become the eyes of this. आप यहाँ पे देखोगे सब कुछ और कुछ गलत हो रहा है बताना, but काम नहीं करो. Stayed with us till the pandemic when he passed away at 92. And Panditji was, to us kids, a grandfather. My grandfather died when I was 5 or 6 years old. And Panditji and Udairaj, Baba, another person from his village, they were my father's keepers and our keepers. They were the historians of the family, the caregivers, the incredible cook. Panditji taught me how to cook. Between Mom and Panditji, I learned how to cook. She was a baker, he was a chef. Panditji also taught me the Gita, the Ramayana, and the Upanishads and the Vedas. And the man who would bring his wife to the city when they had to have either medical checkups or he was missing or who knows, was a Muslim man who brought him. And one day my mother, when I could understand, I said, he said, Devi, Muslim दोस्त क्यों आपका लेके आता है? बीबी safe है उनके साथ. That is the India he came from. Right next to Ayodhya, Panditji was from Ayodhya. मुसलमान आदमी उनकी बीबी को उनके दिल्ली पे लेके आते थे. कोई भेदभाव था नहीं. तो पंडित जी मेरे को मैं उर्दू सीखता था. दादी ने मौलवी साहब को बोला इनको सिखाए. पंडित जी had no problem. उनको चाय देते थे, मौलवी से बात करते थे, मौलवी साहब राम राम कहते थे, उनको खुदा हाफिज कहते थे. इट वाज इंडिया. कि अवध में राम राम मुसलमान आदमी आपको सड़क पे बैठे बोलेगा, क्योंकि अवध में सब लोग राम राम कहते हैं. तो दैट वाज इंडिया, एंड दैट्स द इंडिया आई ग्रो अप इन. एंड पंडित जी वाज अ झलक. तो खुदा हाफिज मैं कभी किसी को बाई नहीं कहता, मैं खुदा हाफिज कहता हूँ. तो बस ये.
Mrs. Rajan.
Sabiha Hashmi, Mrs. Rajan was my art teacher. She was a senior art teacher. I was in the junior art class. Maria Arora was an incredible teacher. I would be taking away from her if I don't recognize her. But Mrs. Maria Arora gave me my first connection to art. Mrs. Rajan saw a boy who was tormented by himself. And I was curious about what they're making. They were making bigger sculpture. They were doing silk screen printing, and she would see me doing it, and she saw sadness in my eyes that others may not have seen. And she took me, she showed me, she said, what do you want to do with this? I said, I want to paint. She said, try. So I was in 5th grade and I was doing silk screen printing the first time, trying it. But then she didn't let me do more because she realized I wasn't there. But she allowed me to watch what the seniors were doing. She would allow me to talk to her. And she would whisper things in my ears about why तू डर क्यों रहा है? ये तूने गलत किया है. ऐसे मत सोच, negative है. But in those, she was being my counselor without me knowing it. And she was giving me access to the older students, getting me into a life of art and getting to serigraphy, screen printing, but also healing a boy who was broken. So she was my art teacher, but she was more. And before I let you go, when I got into 11th grade, I was in 8th or 9th grade when I first challenged the school by saying I want to do meal planning. There'd never been a boy in a meal planning class at our school. And there was a woman who said, I want to be in electronics. So the boys took electronics, girls took meal planning. School was rattled. Tomboy, but they didn't use the word or meet or anything. So Megha went to electronics, I went to meal planning, no problem, and I topped meal planning. I would embroider napkins. They were in shock, the teachers. Not only did they accept me, they were using me as iski tarah banu. So there was no shaming in our school, but somehow. Megha, when you were talking about Gucci, Prada and all these things, I think it was, I won't name names. These women may be watching your podcast. 2 of the girls who were very affluent, one of them had come back from America with, Megha had told me what singer it was, who was wearing those leg warmers, with mini skirts and leg warmers. And everybody in school would look at this girl and say, oh my God, she's so lucky. And I knew Megha wanted them. I learned how to knit, so I could make Megha leg warmers. And I gave Megha purple leg warmers, and she says she has them even now. And she tells everybody, so we learned how to knit to make me leg warmers so I didn't feel like the poor stepchild in school. And Megha Joshi today is an incredible sculptor and artist. She's one of India's top sculptors and painters of our times. And I made her leg warmers in school. She went to electronics, I went to meal planning. And Mrs. Rajan, coming back to her, when I came to 11th and 12th, I wanted to take science. So in CBSE, you take 5 subjects. I took physics, chemistry, math, biology, English, 5 subjects science students take. And I went to the principal's office and I said, 5 isn't enough because this doesn't complete my study. He said, this is done. I said, no, I want to take Hindi, senior Hindi, fine arts, and I want to take Hindustani classical music. He said, are you crazy? I said, there are no bylaws. I'd already studied what the CBSE said, yes or no. It had never been challenged, but the CBSE had no limit for what a student wants to learn. So he went to my mother, he said, yes, there's no limit, but my mom said, create a schedule. He said, he'll have to make his own. She said, let him make his own. So the school, first time in Indian history, 11th grader saying, I'll take 8 subjects. I took them. Mrs. Rajan became my art teacher. I did screen printing, got 100 on 100. First time in the history of CBSE, an art student getting 100. She and my mother both made noise Why does he deserve 100? Art is so subjective. These are the elders I had in my life. They should be thrilled he got 100. They were questioning the veracity of CBSE for giving a student in the arts 100. Science, you can get 100, but art, how can artists get 100? It's subjective. Oh my God, they made noise for their own child and best student getting 100. So this was Mrs. Rajan as well.
Wow. I'm forgetting your music teacher's name. He's a Bengali, I'm forgetting. But
Shankar Das Gupta. Mr. Shankar Das Gupta. I was Sonam Kalra, who is a Sufi singer and of repute today. Sonam and I think we were in 5th grade. We were leading the morning assembly from 5th grade on. So if you were a head boy and head girl in 11th and 12th, you would be looking at us to say, Jaldi karo, jaldi karo. And if you didn't want to do jaldi karo, we wanted a 40-minute morning assembly, we could do it. Because Mr. Das Gupta and the principal relied on us and our mood. कि आज एक गाना होगा या 3 या 6. So we led the morning assembly, harmonium baja ke, beautiful inspirational songs. But he also, in my darkest, deepest moments of suffering, music and writing and gardening and creating, I'm not cutting myself and not trying to jump off the cliff. These are my ways of expressing pain and angst and suffering. So he saw, I think, like Mrs. Rajan, Mrs. Hashmi, Sabiha ma'am's full name was Sabiha Rajan Hashmi. She married a Rajan, but they're separated. So Sabiha Hashmi is now what people remember as. So Miss Hashmi and Mr. Shankar Das Gupta and Nalini Kumaran, the junior music teacher, they made me who I am. Because and modern school, all the teachers. I was a student who was bullied, less, maybe more worried that I'd get bullied. So I was very connected to my classmates, but also very aloof. I never opened myself to them. I may tease them, get teased in return, but I never showed them my links in my armor. I went to the teacher's room. I would sing in the teacher's room, read poetry in the teacher's room, hear them gossip. They trusted me. They treated me like an adult. They treated me like a friend. And what that gave me was, at a young age, confidence, comfort, and agency and access that made me arrive in New York at 20 and not be afraid. So I was mostly in either the art room and music room or the teacher's room, hardly ever available in classes. Absent but not being challenged. The teachers didn't say fail him because he wasn't present. They knew I wasn't doing drugs. I was either in the music room or the art room doing what I loved, or talking to them in the between classes. The teacher giving me a class knew he was talking to either in the music room, art room, or in the teacher's room, doing something creative, not destructive.
What a glorious time if you think about how
IB education and steroids.
what schools can do today, putting you in boxes. What a glorious time.
It was modern school. Yes, it was rich and all of that. But I was so lucky to be there in its heyday.
Yeah. We have to come to Charlie now. And with Charlie, I have a separate question. Again, at Kala Ghoda, you were saying that when you were writing the book, Charlie was worried that you might write something that is not necessarily very complimentary. But obviously, in the book, you've written everything that is super nice. But I get the feeling that, of course, like every other relationship, it couldn't have been all perfect. He couldn't have been all perfect. And my question to you is, when we look at our partners, people who love us, and it doesn't have to be a spouse or a partner, it could be anyone else, this expectation that they will be perfect, I think, is flawed. And what you've done so beautifully is that while he worried that you will call out things that weren't that great, what you chose to focus on were all the positives. How do you look at this?
So, I have conjecture to think what Charlie was worried or calling about. Maybe he was calling to say, don't write your book. You're stupid. Who knows? But yes, there were calls, there was a message. He was challenged by the fact that I'm writing the memoir. Why did you need to write it? Bluster, no. Yes, I said, Charlie is also a human. I remember earlier last year sending him a message that my book will be coming out by end of the year. And can you call me? Never. He was too busy with his new lover, he's now engaged with. Hopefully, they'll be married soon. So I just got coldness, and I didn't expect him to be warm and fuzzy. People move on. And then 2-3 weeks before the book is about to be released, why are you writing books? I've heard it. I said, excuse me. At that point, I became tough. I said, I've talked to an attorney, and you have nothing to stop me from writing this book. I said, Charlie, excuse me. Do you have time? And I read him 3 chapters where he's the star. And after he heard them, there was silence. Perhaps there were tears at his end, I won't know. Shock. And I think awe. And the most gentle Charlie that I knew was talking to me comfortably, and I've never heard back from him again. Maybe he's bought the book and read it too. But a memoir is a dangerous thing to have. I think 99.9% of the times, they're written to celebrate your ego and give your family and friends something to say, oh, we knew this person. But I think nobody really reads them. You buy them, you throw them, and they never help at all. When I was asked to do this, I was like, I don't have time to waste on writing such a story. And I said, and what have I done? Nothing that great. And I knew the most embarrassed by a memoir written by me would be my mother. Because my mother has no time for useless film. So I said, what would she be happy with? Of course, she won't be happy with me airing my laundry. But I said, now she knows that I'm not a person who's afraid to show my vulnerabilities to people. So I said, I've crossed that hurdle. What do I do? And I told the editor, Manasi, that my memoir is a very honest story of truth that strips me naked and tells people the ups and downs and the roller coaster journey that I have. And there are good parts and bad parts and dirty parts and philandering and this and that. I said, I've written it all. There's no judgment because I'm human. Everybody does it. Some hide it. Some hope nobody finds out. And I said, that's the journey I'm treasuring. She said, good. When she read it, she said, Suvir, did you want to have a hero in this book? I said, I don't know, but is there a hero? She said, yes, clearly, and only one. And I said, who is that hero? She said, Charlie. I said, is it a bad thing? She said, not at all. She said, I hope he's paying you. She said, you made him the hero of your autobiography. I said, you know what? Charlie did so many good things that made me so much more of who I am today. He gets all the credit. Were there tough moments, terrible moments, terrifying moments, dark moments? Of course. 20 years with one human being, you've seen it all.
Yeah.
This was not my place to write about his emotional journey. That's his arc to explore himself. And I told that to Charlie when he said to me, you've written very kindly, thank you. I said, Charlie, if and ever you want to write your memoir, don't worry about writing about me. I've written. I've stripped myself naked. Strip yourself naked and help people understand your arc of your journey. Because I said that will be the most honest memoir you can write. And I think a memoir should be honest so that people see themselves in it.
Yeah.
So I think my book, I'm hoping whether you're straight, gay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's the journey of a human.
Yeah.
And that human has failed, succeeded, given love, stolen love, broken promises, done it all.
Yeah.
And I think Charlie understood that I'd not betrayed him.
Yeah.
I'd shared my story in a non-judgmental way from any side. I'm not judged myself either.
Yeah.
And that gave him, I hope it gave him comfort. And you can't have a journey for relationship for 2, 5, 8, 10, 20, 30 years. And when you divorce, call them a monster.
Yeah.
Why were you with them for all this time?
Yeah.
There's something that worked.
Yeah.
Celebrate that. Yeah. Forget what was wrong because you enjoyed all the other parts of them. And why let that negative eat you up today? That's my way of dealing with life. I never let what was wrong stay with me. Because if I own it, then that owns me.
Yeah.
I filed the bad so deep in my soul's filing cabinet that I only access it when I must. And I hope it's never. But I keep the happy parts very up above. So when I need to know of human goodness, they are reminding me, yes, humans are good. And I believe most humans are always good. There's some bad apples. I don't let the fear of them define my journey.
Yeah. That's very much my philosophy as well. And I think it serves us well more than anyone. It's not for anyone else. I think
it's for me.
Yeah, exactly. This is reminding me of a story. So I have a teacher who I was very close to. She used to teach me maths in 10th standard. Her name is Rama ma'am, and she'd given me this silver necklace with a purple pendant. And somehow
Amethyst.
maybe, but I lost it. I think somebody took it, and I was telling her that. And then she said, "You know what? You don't have to feel bad about it. You should think that somebody somewhere is enjoying it."
My mother would say the same thing.
And that has changed my perspective so much.
My mother would say they needed it more than you. Just let it go.
And that's been such a guiding force. It's given me a lightness of being. It's not for anybody else. It's for me. It
Us.
serves me.
No, my mother would say the same. Chori ka say, Baba, how amazing you helped them get what they wanted. Ab jao, aage karo. Go on. Because there's this all material. How you react to these things is who you are.
Yeah.
And what you stay with.
Yeah.
वो तो चोरी मटेरियल खाया पर हम क्यों कर गुस्सा आप हो रहे हो ना वो तो खुश है मैं कितने का था 20 का था न्यूयॉर्क में एक आदमी ने मेरे पूरे स्कूल की फीस सब कुछ चोरी कर लिया द ऑस्ट्रेलियन मदर Baba, you have to live again, love again, trust again, and be human again.
Yeah.
Don't let that person rob you of all those things.
Yeah.
You were silly to give them a joint account holdership within one day of me knowing them.
Yeah.
That was your mistake. But if you don't trust the next lover, if you don't give them all of the same emotions freely, you have been robbed, and that other person who stole from you is happy.
Yeah.
So she said, you have to still, again, take another chance, take another risk, but don't be so silly. कि पहले दिन मिले अगले दिन उनको joint holder बना दिया अपने account में.
Yeah.
So that was silly, but you have to trust and love and be free again.
Yeah. No, and that I think is something that most adults sort of struggle with, right? When you look at adults, I've heard so many of them say that you make friends till a certain age and then you have barriers. And I feel like that's such a disservice to yourself.
Parents and adults are the worst in all of the world. We tell people, hey, डर के रहना बोलो. My parents never did. They never told us किससे डरना. They said डरना ही नहीं है. दुनिया बहुत अच्छी है.
Yeah.
My parents never told us to be afraid.
Yeah.
I've never heard my mother say don't trust.
Yeah.
Because she believed in the goodness of humanity. My father believed in the goodness. My grandparents, all of them. My teachers. We were taught that human beings make mistakes, but not by choice.
Yeah.
And it works because that same Christian person that we were talking about who drove me and called me a heathen, in that car ride, I reminded them that they had a child in prison. And I said, and you vote Republican, and you vote against gay rights, and you vote against capital punishment. I said, and you vote against capital punishment, for capital punishment. I said, I'm gay. I vote for an end to capital punishment. Your child is in jail. I know what they've done. I still want to forgive them. You're a Christian pastor, person of Jesus, and you are going against, but my child. So when it comes to your child, we should all become against capital punishment, against all of this. I said, excuse me, how easy it is. And that's why जब अपने पे भुगतती है, हम लोग सब सुधर जाते हैं. जब किसी और का बच्चा गे है, किसी और के बच्चे ने मर्डर करा, किसी और के बच्चे ने मिस्टेक बनाई, तब जब हमारा बच्चा मिस्टेक बनाता है तो वो एक और चांस दे दीजिए. So my parents weren't those parents. जब हम लोग लड़ते थे, they never went to Mrs. शर्मा आपकी बेटी में भी बात करा. My mother deal with it.
Yeah.
She would never join our fights. Because she knew पास कल सुबह उठ के सब फिर से. पर वो माँ बाप जो बीच में आके फिर टंग it's horrible. The Sharma and Saran are fighting. बच्चे तो भूल गए वो लड़ाई. पर माँ बाप ने वो हिंदू है मुसलमान है बकवास कर रहे. So as my parents never joined our fights, they never fed them with stupidity that adults can.
Yeah.
They told us these are passing moments. Go deal with it. He punched you. So क्या बड़ी बात है? चलो go smile again. So you and I were lucky that we didn't have these are the cleanest ways of living. Yeah. Yes, there'll be mistakes. Yes, you'll be wrong. Yes, you'll be robbed. Yes, you'll be challenged. But you won't be you without them.
Yeah. Tell me, how long does it take you to do a vibe check of a person to know whether this person is your kind of person?
So I did come to your... I'm sitting here today without having looked at you online, Google search, kuch nahi kara. Because then I come with an agenda.
Yeah.
I have now judged you. I don't do vibe checks. In all my friendships, I arrive to them clean, and I keep feeding them till one day you snap and do something horrible. And then again, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. If you are repeating the same behavior 10 times, I know that is now your reality.
Yeah.
But till then, I'm not doing wipe checks. सबके बुरे दिन होते हैं, सबकी tragedies होती हैं life में. Why would you do wipe checks? You want to be wipe checked? No, I don't want to be wipe checked. And I don't do any wipe check, personality check, background check. क्यों? क्योंकि you can be a murderer. अपने किसी ऊपर अपने you've been in jail for 20 years. Now you're 60, talking to me. Why should I judge you for what you did? I don't. Wipe checks are ridiculous.
Moving a little bit to a completely different arc, let's say, you are so multifaceted. You've spoken about gardening, you've spoken about art, you've spoken about music, spirituality, teaching, so many things. And most adults, I think, by the time, maybe as kids, we are a lot more experimental, but by the time we grow up, we decide that we are just this one thing and we put ourselves in one box. How do you find time, scope, give yourself the permission to be so many things?
You know,
Yeah.
मैं आप अपनी तलाश में हूँ, मेरा कोई रहनुमा नहीं है, वो क्या दिखाएंगे राह मुझको जिन्हें खुद अपना पता नहीं है. This is this beautiful ghazal that my music teacher Marina taught me. इसका अगली जो लाइन है, ये तेरे मंदिर ये तेरे मस्जिद, ये बुत परस्ती ये सजदा गही, अगर इन्हीं में तेरे खुदा का घर है तो इनमें मेरा खुदा नहीं है, मैं आप अपनी तलाश में हूँ. So who we are, what we are, is a eternal search. It's a journey. I knit, I stitch, I crochet, I paint, I sculpt, I cook, I do needlepoint, I do macrame, I do printmaking, I do etching, I do watercolors, I do oil, I do digital art making, I read, I recite, I do anything a mind, body, and soul can do without too much of another person's effort. And I used to play tennis, but I don't do more of sports because they require you to be with another. जो एक आदमी अपने आप कर सकता मैं कर लेता हूँ. Am I a master of any or many of them? I don't think so, and I don't want to be. The day you're a master, you've stopped living. Marina, my music teacher, was the senior most disciple of Panditji. Panditji passed away. She today has, I think, 5 or 6 gurus. And I said, Marina, तुम क्या कर रही हो? And I call her by name. She's my guru, and I call her by her name. Because we think of each other as, she's much older than me, but we think we're the same age. She said, Suvir, मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ. I said, Marina, you have over 300 students. पर मैं भी स्टूडेंट हूँ. जिस दिन मैं नहीं सीखूंगी, मैं useless हूँ. So 5 gurus have replaced Panditji. That's how many it took. And she's learning from all these people in different parts of the world, different traditions of music. And that's keeping her young. Marina is Bengali, Bangladeshi, in New York, and then travels the world. And you know, हम लोग दोनों যদি তোরে ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে. That we have to do it alone. We have to do what we want. And to get from point A to point B, if it takes 20 things to keep you stronger, happier, more together and collected through the storms and the happy moments, so be it. And these are all my ways of not letting the noise in my head, the pain of my body, take away from what I can't jump. That I've realized I want to jump sometimes, but I don't have the courage to do it. Sylvia Plath is much stronger than I. I wish I could jump. Because every day I wish that missile hitting a Palestinian home, that shot killing a Palestinian child, Kashmiri person, मेरे ऊपर आ जाए. But नहीं, it's not in my power. So in the absence of that, मैं ये चीजें करके चल रहा हूँ आगे.
Why don't you sing for us?
मेरी आवाज़ बहुत सेक्सी हो गई है. When I had a TIA, transient ischemic attack, my palate changed. So I know I have flaws in my singing. तो मरीना ने मुझे माफ़ किया हुआ है, बड़े गुरुजी पंडित जसराज जी ने माफ़ किया हुआ है. तो मेरे को शर्म नहीं आती गाने में, तो मैं गा दूंगा आपके लिए. But पिछले 3-4 महीने में, in the last 3-4 months, I'm not being able to sing. Just earlier this week, I told Marina, क्या करूँ, गा ही नहीं पा रहा हूँ मरीना. Practice, I said, कर ही नहीं 4 महीने में क्योंकि आ ही नहीं रही आवाज़. अगर practice तो करनी है ना, तभी तो खुलेगी आवाज. I've written 11 books in the last 6 months. Bigger than what you've read. And I don't get sleep. So I think somewhere earlier I used to sing for 8, 10, 11 hours a day.
Wow.
Now I'm writing 16 to 20 hours a day. So writing has replaced singing right now. And because writing is old for me, I was an editor of the school magazine, but I'd forgotten I could write. And now it's come to me and I want to write. I don't care if people read it. I'm not writing for people, I'm writing for me.
Yeah.
So I've written 11 books and I'm writing a 12th, which is, for me, it's the first time I'm writing fiction. I'm writing historical, non-fiction in it, and telling the tale of a society. So there's real fiction is the greatest way of telling the truth.
Yeah.
So that the Modis and the Trumps and all the leaders of the world don't come after you. You're saying, oh, it's fiction. So so it's not really fiction, but it is.
Yeah.
And that book is keeping me. So when I'm not writing, I'm still thinking what to write in it, because there's so much in the world that's so beautiful, so much that's so scary. It's all coming in that book.
Yeah.
And तो गाना मेरा दुश्मन बना हुआ है पर है मेरे साथ. मैं क्या गाऊं आपके लिए? बंगाली में गाता हूँ, शायद आप मजाक नहीं उड़ाएंगे.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं.
मोर पिया हो बे एशो रानी দিব খোপায় তারার ফুল করণে দুলাবো তৃতীয় তিথি চৈতি চাঁদের দুল দিব খোপায় তারার ফুল. Did you understand? মোর পিয়া হবে এসো রানী দিব খোপায় তারার ফুল করণে দুলাবো তৃতীয় তিথি চৈতি চাঁদের দুল দিব খোপায় তারার ফুল. It's Qazi Nazrul Islam singing that if you become my beloved, Mor Piya Hobe, Esho Rani, that treat the Rani, Dibo Khopai, for your Juda, Taro ka gajra bana ke dunga. Korone, embroidered for you in a lehenga form, will be a lehenga that will have the dhool of the chand looking like Mukesh on it. On the third moment of the day, Tvitiya Tithi, जब वो गौधूली होती है, चांदेर धूल की लेके मैं इसकी embroidery करूँगा तेरे लहंगे पे. So how much more poetic and loving and gorgeous can a description be of a poetry?
Seriously.
काजी नजरुल इस्लाम उसमें कहते हैं रामधेनु होबे. इंद्रधनुष को बंगाली में रामधेनु होबे लाल रंग छानी आलता पोड़ाबो पाए कि इंद्रधनुष का लाल लेके मैं आपके पैरों पे आलता पेंट करूं. Look at what he says.
How beautiful. Now, circling back to Serendipity, I think we started with Serendipity. I want to come back to it. We were supposed to shoot on 8th March and we couldn't. Today is 12th March. Today is my dad's birthday. Today is also the day when he's not with me. This is the first birthday that he's not with us. And
I'm so sorry for the loss. It's a huge loss.
It feels like he's blessing me because this is a big one for me, and you are here today speaking to me like this. So I think he's blessing me. I think we were meant to shoot on 12th, and that's why I love Serendipity. I love how it does beautiful things for us. And I want to ask you, when your dad passed, I think your sister Seema said something really nice to
He's in our DNA, which I was about to tell you, that don't cry. I cried for the first 7 years every day. Now I cry 3-4 times a month. But the first 7 years I cried. Charlie didn't know what had happened to me. I was numb. I didn't know kya pahad mere ko. I've dealt with so much. But the death of a parent, what my father's passing did to me, I shudder to think when mom goes, "Main kya hoga?" Because I was paralyzed. I couldn't look at work the same way. I hated work. I hated living. I hated everything in life. And then one day, I'm looking at this hibiscus and it's red. I said, Papa sitting there. And I'm thinking about talking to myself. And I touched it. I'm seeing Papa. And so I see Papa now in so many things. So just allow yourself to enjoy the beauty of life.
Yeah.
And there with you, he's with you, and he'll make you most beautiful part. I'll tell you, and it's all of these things are like noise to you, but I've understood. People said it, and I'm so grateful to the ones who repeated it 100 times because they weren't wrong. We have a heightened relationship, Papa and I now. And my father was a father who came home every day at 5 to be with me. No father gave that child, any child, that luxury that Papa gave me. And yet he's even more present in my life.
Yeah.
So now I go to bed with Papa, I'm walking with Papa, I'm sitting and talking to you while Papa is here.
Yeah.
So Papa, Dadi, Bua, they're all with me always.
Yeah.
I've realized, oh, कहीं नहीं गए. ये मेरी जिंदगी के हिस्से हैं, मेरे खून में बह रहे हैं, मेरे साथ हैं और कभी मुझे छोड़ेंगे नहीं. तो वो एक फॉर्म चला गया है, बट वो तो यहीं पे है.
I truly believe that. So I've sent orchids home. His favorite ice cream was butterscotch.
हम भी यही करते हैं. We eat what he loved on this day, and we remember all the good things.
Yeah. So I've ordered a butterscotch.
Papa love butterscotch too.
Oh.
एक brick हम लोग खा लेते थे ये ना together.
This has been so lovely, Suvir. I want to end with one question. You've spoken about so much love, so much hope, but you've also spoken about being broken, being shattered. And I think it's sad when I look around. Of course, there is Palestine, and that is horrible, and there's Trump, that's horrible. But even in our regular lives, I think we put ourselves through a lot of pain, which is unnecessary. We feel deep shame. We feel misunderstood. We feel alone. We feel scared. We don't know what's going to happen. We hate ambiguity. If you had to share some words with everybody who feels alone, and it could be somebody who's young, somebody who's middle-aged, somebody who's 80, what would those words be?
You know, when I came into this world in 1972, I was born to Sunita and Guru Saran. I came to home in South Extension in South Delhi, went to modern school Vasant Vihar. Was my first, I tell people my mother tongue is English. So I guess I'm now not Indian because now the national language of India is Hindi. So I was born with a very rich plate of good luck. Just one nakshatra that put me in my mother's womb, that brought me out on November 29, 1972, gave me all of this. I didn't choose it. मैं हिंदू हूँ, मैंने नहीं चूज़ किया, नाम मैंने नहीं चूज़ किया, स्कूल मैंने नहीं चूज़ किया, ज़बान मैंने नहीं चूज़ करी. अब मैं जी पहुँच गया और लोग कहेंगे प्रिविलेज है, ये है, वो है, ये. मैंने नहीं चूज़ किया. मैं जो हूँ, क्या हूँ? लड़का हूँ, गे हूँ, हिंदुस्तान में हूँ. ये मेरी सच्चाई है. अगर इसके लिए आप मुझे दुत्कारेंगे, if you hate me for being a boy who's gay, shame on you. If you hate me for being Indian, shame on you. These are things that I am, but I, again, haven't chosen.
Yeah.
So as a decent human being, look at the other, not as different, but as part of the same equation of humanity that connects us together. If I stay sleepless at night and cry, you are the reason. Because your hate of me, your accusations against me, your looking at me meanly, are making me tremble every night. Why should I have that? आप भी तो अलग दिखते हैं लोगों को. कोई आपको कर रहा है, पर आप अपने सेफ कुकुन में बैठे. So if we all humans, whether it's this gentleman who's taping us, whose name is Vivian, and I'm thinking Vivian is a woman's name. Then I'm thinking in my head, no, but I guess there's a Vivian man also.
Yeah.
World should teach us every day that our comforting boxes of sameness are the most dangerous silos to live in. Because in those, all we breed is this fear of the other.
Yeah.
The world is a very complex place. In the Vedas and in the Upanishads, they say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which was a slogan for G20. But did anybody understand it? It's the epitome of Indian graciousness. Indian Muslims, Indian Hindus, Indian Sikhs, Indian Jews. We've all known that India is a plural society where difference is celebrated, it's seen, it's recognized, it's accepted, it's celebrated, and it is here to stay. And हिंदुस्तान की ये खूबी है. अगर ये हम दुनिया को दिखा दें, अपने दिल में समझ जाएंगे, कोई बच्चा डिप्रेस नहीं रहेगा. उसको आप मेंटली डिफॉर्म्ड कहते हैं, एक्सक्यूज मी आपका भी तो हार्ट हाई ब्लड प्रेशर आपको दे रहा है, तो उसमें क्या फर्क है? एक दिमागी प्रॉब्लम है, एक हार्ट की प्रॉब्लम, एक गुर्दे की है, एक पैर की है, सब बीमारियां हैं, उसके लिए इलाज है, उसको एक्सेप्ट कीजिए. So we as humans have to understand that we come with different looks and forms and shapes. Our love lives can be different. Who we choose to sleep in bed with is not your policing to do.
Yeah.
What mental illness or body illness or that illness we haven't chosen.
Yeah.
We've been given it by the Creator, by whatever birth. Our duty is to make each other comfortable. The more we do, the less chance that Suvir will cry till the age of 10, then at 50 be crying because he was crying till the age of 10. The damage we do to young people makes them happy or sad at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and maybe even after death, who knows? I've never gone past death. I've gone to near death. Stop judging. That's not your role in this world. You've come here to live with smiles, live with independent thinking, and let the world be the same. Do unto others as you want done to yourself. That's the golden rule of the Bible. वो कबीर ने कहा था ना कि बोए पेड़ बबूल का आम कहाँ से होए. If you are sowing the seeds of hate and questioning and negativity, आपकी जिंदगी उतनी miserable होने वाली.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Suvir. This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking out the time. This has meant a lot to me.
Thank you for having me. I hope I've not wasted it.
Not at all, far from it. Thank you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll look forward to your comments and feedback. Before you go, can I ask for a favor? If you like the show, would you consider subscribing? It's an easy way to support us. And we promise to keep doing what we're doing and try and do even better. Thank you.